I like to think that I am very honest with myself. I like to think I know myself very well and I know what I like and what I don't like. One thing that I know I'm able to do when I'm watching dramas is separate entertainment from morality. That is, I'm able to be like, okay, this drama is featuring the worst kinds of people, but still find it entertaining. And so a lot of the times I will watch dramas that I know characters are terrible, but because I just find them fun to watch, I don't mind it, right? And that is the case, I think, with Secret Lovers, which is a drama I am going to be covering in this episode. Secret Lovers is a 10 episode Taiwanese drama that basically follows two childhood friends, and they are basically best friends, right? Things start to change when, one of them kind of like confesses his feelings for the other one and kind of crosses that line. And so a lot of this drama is them figuring things out together and learn to accept that their relationship has changed and what that means, not just for them but for people around them, right? Because again, this is a BL drama, and so there's that aspect of, being gay and navigating that, right? So that is what this drama is about. And honestly, my expectation for this was that this was just a regular rom-com, right? Like there's not much to this and it was going to be smooth, and for the most part it is. Just one thing I will say is that I find the male lead Atuo to be extremely problematic. Like I find him to be extremely problematic, and it's in a way that I feel like the producers don't know he is, or the writers don't know he is, because clearly this is marketed, like I said, like a rom-com. It's just a light drama. It's vanilla. There's really nothing much to this, and it's set in color, things like that. So for the most part, this is pretty light, but there are just moments where I feel like my eye my eyes were twitching because I felt that actually Atsuo is very problematic. And honestly, if Junshi was my son, I would tell him to run far, far away. Like I would be like, you cannot see this boy ever again. I would be that strict parent, right? Obviously, I'm not Junshi's parent, and obviously, I don't have a say in this. So right on. But like seriously, it's actually a very problematic personality that I think Atu has, and I'm going to talk about it. But first, I want to talk about things I did like about this drama because, like I said, this drama is very light, very entertaining. Like, there isn't any real angst to this. I mean, there is, but it's not a real angst. Again, just a very light drama, right? They're in college, they get along well. A lot of what they have conflict over is interpersonal relationships and just trying to figure out how they will work going forward, right? So it's very sweet for the most part, and so I like that about this drama. One of the strongest points about this drama, and this is an issue I think with a lot of dramas, because chemistry I feel like is one thing that can make or break a drama for me, right? Like if I feel like the chemistry between two characters are not good, I am not able to kind of like immerse myself in the drama, right? In the story. And I have to say that's not a problem here, right? Like the two actors that are playing Ato and Junshi are like perfect together. And it's hard to explain, but like I genuinely believe these two people have been friends since they were kids, and so it's very easy to like believe in this world they are in and believe in their relationship, right? I genuinely believe that Ato does love Junshi because you see that like chemistry, you see how much they get along and how well they get along, right? And so that's I think one of the strongest points to this. They have very good chemistry that once they like switch into something romantic, it's sizzling, like you can see it immediately, right? And so that is a really strong point with this drama, right? um and yeah, so that's like the good part of this drama. And like what I'm about to say is not like a negative like criticism to this drama, because again, I'm the kind of person that I don't mind how terrible a person can be. So far they're entertaining, and that's the case here. But still I have to mention it because Ato was like scaring me. And I think part of why Ato was a very problematic character is because that genuinely I think he just needs therapy. Like I think he needs therapy first before getting into a relationship with Junshi, because I think he's kind of codependent, right? And so a lot of his actions, right, come out forceful, because I feel like genuinely for him, Junshi is all he has, and I feel like that's why I think his character is a little worrisome, right? And so there are moments where Ato displays this like um toxic energy, right? He feels the need to, I don't want to say punish Junshi for things, but he tends to like withhold affection, right? Or like there was a moment where, he has obviously told Junshi how he felt and everything, and Junshi is still kind of like trying to like understand how he feels, trying to think this through, but like Ato is so pushy that he basically stops speaking to Junshi, right? And because Junshi genuinely obviously likes this person, and he cares for Ato and stuff like that, he kind of gives in, right? Because he doesn't want Ato to keep ignoring him. And I remember thinking, oh my god, this is actually not a good thing. Like, this is actually this is very like trouble, like it's problematic, right? Like because it's basically forcing the affection, because and I get it, like he feels that that's the only way he's going to be able to get like Junshi to like accept him and accept him fast, right? But I remember thinking, oh my god, he shouldn't be that like pushy about it, right? Like, give the boy some time to kind of accept your feelings and grow with you in that regard. Because I mean, Ato has known he's liked Junshi for forever, but like Junshi liked their best friend just like 2 days ago, right? So like I felt that it was unfair in that sense, right? But yeah, like Junshi gave in and all is good again, right? And then you find out more things about Ato, like the fact that he basically dated all the girls that ever liked Junshi just so just so like Junshi could not date them. And honestly, now that I think about it, Ato is actually like just a funny character, because what do you mean? And so like that's another thing, he did that. Obviously in that case, like Junshi found it funny and wasn't really mad about it. But like there was a whole part where like at the beginning Junshi felt that he wasn't popular. He felt that people didn't like him as much. He felt that he couldn't get girls. Like these are like actual worries he had growing up. And to hear that Ato was the one stealing all his girls, like that's like actually like diabolical. Like I remember like watching that scene and being like why would you do that, right? But yeah, that's another one that I'm like, why is he like this, right? And again, I think Ato's personality, Ato's like sense of abandonment from his parents is what has like spurred of this behavior, where Junshi is like one of the two people growing up that gave him affection, their other friend being the other person, right? But generally it was Junshi that kind of like took him in and was his friend, and I feel like that's where he developed that like codependency on Junshi. And so a lot of it is his own vulnerability, it's his own like feeling of not belonging that he has, that he kind of like gets all that and um ties that to Junshi. So to an extent I understand it. It's just kind of like that scene where you find out that he was doing all that to like with girls that liked Junshi was just hilarious to me, right? But yeah, that's another thing, and that's why I feel like genuinely like Ato needs like therapy first. He needs to like understand that Junshi is not that person to like get all his validation from, is not somebody that I should rely on for everything, right? As he is now, because that's not sustainable, I feel like, right? And he needs therapy to like help him find new friends basically, because he even struggles in that sense that like all he wants is Junshi, right? And it's just like you could use like one or two other friends, right? So that's what that like the vibes this gives me, that like honestly therapy first. Right? Because there's another one too, I think, when Junshi's having a hard time telling his parents, and Ato decides that the best thing to do is to break up with Junshi. And in that one, it's not like an issue in terms of like there's anything bad about what Ato did. Although like technically that boy did leave his house, leave his parents to move in with you, to now break up with him right after that. That's also like very serious. But like I know from his point of view, because I think Ato has a really low self-esteem and sense of like self-worth. He felt that like he was taking Junshi away from his parents and from people that loved him and was basically stressing Junshi out. But obviously that was not the case, right? And I have to say I applaud Junshi and his personality and his care for Atsu, because it's actually not easy to deal with a boyfriend that is this codependent, right? But Junshi like genuinely also loves Atsu. I mean, it's hard not to love. Have you seen him? But like genuinely he obviously loves him and wants to like be with him, right? And so I have to say that actually Junshi is a very welcoming and warm person, right? Like, so I feel like he's able to like take a lot of that from Atsu and be that balm for him, right? Honestly, I feel like he's a saint because Atsu is just something else. So generally, yeah, I felt that while this was like supposed to be like a feel good rom com, just general BL drama that was not too serious, there were moments there where I was just like, and obviously for me that does not take away from watching a drama. I will watch a drama no matter how bad it gets. Like, this is me being like a Ming apologist. And if you don't know who Ming is the male lead in My Standing, which is like this drama that I did a review of that drama once or twice, so go check it out. But like, he's not Ming, right? He's definitely like low on the like flag to tempo, but still is there somewhere, right? And his own is more like slick in how he does it, because like he has a way of like affecting Junshi's mental health with how he acts sometimes, right? But I think that they can go together, and I think that in an ideal world they'll like get better and he'll get more like comfortable existing, not just for Junshi, right? But as it stands, that's just what we have. So yeah, I think the drama was great. I have to say that again, their chemistry fantastic, and even though they have NC scenes, I have to say it's done very tastefully. Like, they know how to shoot NC scenes in Taiwan, and so a lot of it was just like, it was like candy to the eyes, right? They get along well together. They are like a very like sultry pair together, and it's a shame that like Taiwan, China, like places like that do not do multiple dramas with the same like actors. I mean, Japan does, but it's not often. Like, you've only had like a few dramas where they've kept acting together, and that's usually because like the work that they're adapting has multiple like seasons. So like, think My Beautiful Man or Takumi the series, right? That's because there's more to like adapt, but generally it's not a thing. So it's a shame that I feel like this will never work together again, but what they gave us was great and I loved it very much. I have to say, guys, 2025, am I the only one who feels like this year has been like the year of like BL dramas? Like, I feel like I've watched more BL in this year and I've covered more BL in this year than any year. I mean, also I've not been watching BL that long in terms of like being an actual like avid BL watcher. So maybe I'm not, maybe it's always been like this, but I just feel like I've covered so many this year. And in comparison, I have not covered as many Korean dramas. I feel like all the Korean dramas that I like has just started coming out, right? And so I'm going to be covering actually a few Korean dramas back to back in the upcoming like weeks. But yeah, that's really all I have in this episode. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you again next week. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.